Captain Ju Kim stared at the control panel of her ship, the Horizon. The small dots on the radar moved slowly. It was another quiet day patrolling the outer colonies. She had been doing this job for 5 years now, and most days were the same. Nothing unusual ever happened here, far from Earth. Jiwoo tucked a strand of black hair behind her ear and sighed. She had joined the Earth Defense Fleet for adventure, but most of her time was spent watching empty space. She tapped her fingers on the armrest of her captain's chair. "Captain, I'm picking up a strange signal," said Officer Doyun from his station. His eyes were fixed on his screen. Jiwoo sat up straight. "What kind of signal?" "I don't know. It's not matching any patterns in our database." This was new. Jiwoo stood up and walked to Doyun's station. The signal was weak, but definitely there. It pulsed in an odd rhythm that seemed almost alive. "Where is it coming from?" she asked. Doyun pointed to a spot on the screen. "There. About 50,000 kilometers from here. It's small, whatever it is." Jiwoo made her decision quickly. "Change course. Let's check it out." The Horizon turned smoothly through space. As they got closer to the signal, Jiwoo felt a strange tingle at the back of her neck. Something about this felt important. "Visual contact in 30 seconds, announced Officer Mina from the front of the bridge. Everyone watched the main screen. At first, there was nothing but stars. Then, a small object came into view. It was spinning slowly, reflecting the distant sun's light. "What is that?" Jiwoo asked. "Zoom in." The image grew larger. The object was about the size of a small car. It was not a ship or any kind of machine. It looked organic. "It's alive," said Doyun in surprise. "Life signs are weak but present." "Is it dangerous?" asked Jiwoo. "No weapons detected. No technology readings at all. It seems to be just a creature." Jiwoo thought for a moment. Protocol said they should report this and wait for the science team. But the creature looked like it was in trouble. It was spinning too fast, and its movements seemed weak. "Prepare the capture field," she ordered. "We're bringing it in." "Captain," Mina said with worry in her voice. "That's against protocol. We should call it in first." Jiwoo shook her head. "By the time help arrives, that thing could be dead. I'm making a judgment call." The ship moved closer. A gentle blue light extended from the bottom of the Horizon, surrounding the floating creature. Slowly, it was pulled into the ship's small hangar bay. Jiwoo put on her spacesuit and went down to see their visitor. 2 security officers joined her, their weapons ready just in case. The hangar doors closed, and air filled the room. Through the small window, Jiwoo could see the creature lying still on the floor. "Life support shows it can breathe our air," said the ship's computer. Jiwoo entered the hangar. As she got closer, she gasped in surprise. The creature looked almost like a puppy from Earth. It had a furry body and a face that reminded her of a small dog. But this was definitely not from Earth. It had 6 legs instead of 4, and its fur shimmered with colors that seemed to change as it breathed. Its eyes were closed. "Is it hurt?" she asked, kneeling beside it. Her scanner showed that the creature was weak, but not injured. As if hearing her voice, it opened its eyes. They were large and purple, with no pupils. It looked straight at Jiwoo, and then it smiled. Jiwoo had seen many strange things in space, but a smiling alien puppy was new. The creature made a small sound, almost like a purr. Against her better judgment, Jiwoo reached out and touched its head. The fur felt warm and soft. The creature leaned into her hand. "Captain, we should put it in containment," one of the security officers warned. But Jiwoo couldn't see this gentle creature as a threat. "It's harmless," she said. "Look at it." As if understanding her words, the creature stood up on its 6 legs. It was about the size of a small dog. It walked in a circle around Jiwoo, then sat in front of her and made a happy chirping sound. "I'm calling you Pupey," Jiwoo said with a smile. "Don't worry, we'll take care of you." Back on the bridge, Juwoo sent a message to headquarters. Found unknown life form in Sector 7. Bringing it in for study. Appears non-hostile. What she didn't say was that Pupey was now sitting on her lap as she worked, looking at everything with those strange purple eyes. She didn't know it yet, but this small creature would change everything. For her, for humanity, and for the universe itself. Pupey was not what it seemed, and the war that would follow began with this simple, innocent meeting. All because Captain Joo Kim broke protocol to save what looked like a lost space puppy. The journey back to Earth's main space station took 3 days. During this time, Pupey became the favorite of everyone on the horizon. The strange, 6-legged creature followed Juwoo everywhere, watching her with those large purple eyes. "It's learning our language," Officer Minna said on the second day. They were in the break room, and Pupey was sitting on the table, eating small bits of food they had given it. Juwoo looked up from her coffee. "What do you mean?" "Watch this." Minna pointed to a cup. "Cup," she said clearly. Then she pointed to a plate. "Plate." Pupey looked at each object as Minna named them. Then, to everyone's surprise, it made a sound that was very close to the word cup while looking at the cup. "That's impossible," Do-Yun said, nearly dropping his food. "It's only been with us for 2 days. Juwoo frowned. This was strange. Very strange. No animal could learn a new language this fast. Even the smartest animals from Earth needed weeks or months to understand simple words. "Maybe it's just copying sounds," she said, but she didn't really believe that. When they finally reached Earth Space Station Seoul, the largest human station in orbit, Juwoo reported directly to her commander. "You brought an unknown alien life form onto your ship." Commander Yoon's face turned red with anger, without following any safety protocols. "It was dying," Juwoo said, "and it's harmless." "You don't know that. It could be carrying diseases. It could be dangerous in ways we can't even imagine." Juwoo had to admit her commander had a point. "I'm sorry, sir. I made a judgment call." The commander sighed. "Well, what's done is done. The xenobiology team will take it from here." Juwoo felt sad as she handed Pupey over to Dr. Taehyun Park, the head of the xenobiology department. The little creature seemed to understand what was happening and pressed itself against Juwoo's leg. "Don't worry," Dr. Park said with a kind smile. "We'll take good care of your new friend." Juwoo kneeled down and patted Pupey's head. "Be good, okay? I'll come see you soon." As Juwoo was walking away, something strange happened. All the lights in the hallway flickered. The computer panels on the wall went dark for a second, then came back on. That was odd, Juwoo said to herself. The station was only 3 years old and had the best technology Earth could make. Technical problems were rare. Later that day, Juwoo went to check on Pupey. She found Dr. Park looking at a screen full of data, his face serious. "Is everything okay?" she asked. Dr. Park jumped a little, as if he hadn't heard her come in. "Oh, Captain Kim. Yes, everything is. Interesting." "What do you mean?" He pointed to the screen. "This creature, Pupey, as you call it, is giving off signals that I've never seen before. They're like quantum pulses, but they don't match any known pattern." Juwoo looked through the glass wall to where Pupey was sitting in a large, comfortable room. It was watching them. "Can I go in?" she asked. Dr. Park hesitated. "We're supposed to keep it isolated, but yes, go ahead. It seems to have bonded with you." Juwoo entered the room, and Pupey immediately ran to her, making happy chirping sounds. She sat on the floor, and the creature climbed onto her lap. "Have they been treating you well?" she asked, stroking its shimmering fur. Pupey looked up at her and made a sound that was almost like yes. Dr. Park, watching through the glass, dropped his tablet in shock. Suddenly, without warning, Pupey leaned forward and bit Juwoo's hand. It happened so fast that she didn't have time to pull away. "Ouch!" she cried out, more surprised than hurt. Dr. Park rushed in. "Are you okay?" Juwoo looked at her hand. There was a small mark where Pupey had bitten her, but it wasn't bleeding. "It's fine. I think it was just playing." But Pupey wasn't playing. It was staring at Juwoo's face with an intensity that made her uncomfortable. And then the strangest thing happened. Juwoo felt a tingling sensation spreading from her hand up her arm. It wasn't painful, but it wasn't normal either. "Dr. Park," she said slowly, "something's happening." The world around her started to blur. She could hear Dr. Park calling for help, but his voice seemed far away. Pupey was still staring at her, and now Juwoo could swear that the creature was smiling. As medical staff rushed in, Juwoo fell backward. Her last thought before losing consciousness was that Pupey had planned this all along. When she woke up hours later in the medical bay, Juwoo knew something was different. Her mind felt clearer, sharper. She could understand things she had never understood before. Equations and symbols flashed through her thoughts. And somehow, she knew that the war had just begun. Juwoo sat on the edge of her bed in the medical bay. The doctors had run every test they could think of, but they found nothing wrong with her. Still, she knew something had changed inside her brain. "How are you feeling?" Dr. Taehyun Park entered the room, carrying a tablet. "Different," Juwoo said. "My mind feels bigger somehow." Taehyun nodded and sat down next to her. "Your brain scans show increased activity in areas that are normally dormant in humans. Whatever Pupey did to you, it's changing how your brain works." "Is that dangerous?" "We don't know yet, but I'm more concerned about what happened in your sleep last night." Juwoo looked at him with confusion. "What do you mean?" Taehyun handed her the tablet. On the screen was a recording from the medical bay. It showed Juwoo asleep, but her hands were moving. She was writing in the air, her fingers tracing invisible shapes. "You did this for 3 hours straight," Taehyun said. "The computer recorded it all and turned your movements into this." He swiped to the next screen. It showed complex equations and diagrams that looked like nothing Juwoo had ever seen before. But the strange thing was, she understood them now. This is about dimensional barriers," she said, surprised at her own words. "It's showing how consciousness can move between different layers of reality." Taehyun stared at her. "How do you know that?" "This is beyond our most advanced physics." Juwoo shook her head. "I don't know how I know. The knowledge is just there." Suddenly, a loud alarm blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed in the hallway. "What's happening?" Juwoo asked, standing up quickly. Taehyun checked his communicator. His face went pale. "Something just entered our solar system. Something big." They rushed to the command center. The large screen on the wall showed a massive object approaching Earth. It was unlike any ship Juwoo had ever seen. It seemed to shift and change shape as she watched, parts of it appearing and disappearing, as if it wasn't fully in their dimension. Commander Yoon was already there, barking orders. "Get all defense systems online. I want every available pilot ready to launch." "Sir," Juwoo said, approaching him. "What is that thing?" The commander turned to her. "We don't know. It just appeared at the edge of the solar system 10 minutes ago. It's not responding to any of our messages." A young officer spoke up from his station. "Sir, we're receiving a signal now. It's asking for something." "Put it on screen," ordered Commander Yoon. The screen flickered, and a message appeared. It was in a strange language, but to Juwoo's shock, she could read it perfectly. "They want Pupey back," she said out loud, "and they want the human it has selected." Everyone turned to look at her. "You can understand that?" the commander asked in disbelief. Before Juwoo could answer, another message appeared on the screen. This time, it was in English. "Return our PATHFINDER, and he shows in human. Resistance will rise ULT in dimensional COLAPSA." The command center fell silent. Then a small voice spoke from the doorway. "They are the Dorak. They have been searching for a long time." Juwoo turned to see Pupey standing there. But it wasn't making animal sounds anymore. It was speaking perfect English. "You can talk?" Taehyun asked, his voice shaking. "I always could," Pupey said, "but understanding requires preparation. Joo Kim has been prepared." Joo felt a chill run down her spine. Prepared for what? To solve the paradox. Pupey walked closer to her. "My kind has searched thousands of worlds for a species with the right kind of mind. Humans think differently. You see patterns we cannot." Commander Yoon stepped forward. "What is this paradox?" "It is the key to higher dimensions," Pupey explained, "and the weapon that will save us all." Suddenly, Juwoo's head was filled with images and equations. She gasped and grabbed onto a nearby table to steady herself. "I see it," she whispered. "The paradox is about existence itself, about how consciousness can exist in multiple states at once." "Yes," said Pupey, "and now they are here for you." Joo Kim, the first human to understand the paradox in 10,000 years. The room started to spin around Joo. The equations in her mind were getting clearer, forming a pattern that was both beautiful and terrifying. "The Dorek are trapped," she said, her voice distant. "Trapped in a dimensional loop that's slowly killing them. They need the solution to escape. And to fight their enemies." Pupey added, "The paradox is also the perfect weapon." The alarm sounded again, more urgent this time. "The ship is moving closer," an officer reported. "It's accelerating toward Earth." Commander Yoon looked at Joo and then at Pupey. "What do they want with her?" "Her mind," Pupey said simply. "It's the key to everything." 3 hours after the Dorek ship entered Earth's solar system, the leaders of Earth gathered in a virtual meeting. Joo stood in the command center of Station Seoul, watching their worried faces on the large screen. Pupey sat quietly beside her. "So this creature," said the president of the United Earth Alliance, "has been sent by these aliens to find someone who can solve their paradox." "Yes," Joo answered. "The Dorak have been searching for thousands of years. They've visited many worlds with intelligent life." "And why humans?" asked another leader. "What makes us special?" Pupey spoke up, its voice clear and calm. "Human brains process quantum information differently. You think in ways no other species does. Your minds can hold contradictory ideas at once." Commander Hanbit Lee, head of Earth's military forces, stepped forward. His face was hard with suspicion. "This sounds like a trick to me. They want our help to create a weapon." "It's not just a weapon," Joo said. "It's also their salvation. The Dorek are trapped in a dimensional loop that's slowly collapsing. If they don't escape, their entire species will die." Dr. Taehyun Park had been quiet until now. He looked up from his tablet. "Based on the equations Captain Kim has been producing, this paradox is real. It's something beyond our current understanding of physics." "Have they tried to contact us again?" the president asked. "Yes," Commander Yoon replied. "They're demanding to speak with Captain Kim and the Pupey creature. They've given us 12 hours to send them both to their ship, or they will demonstrate their dimensional capabilities." The room fell silent. Everyone knew this was a threat. "I believe we should cooperate," Joo said. "At least hear what they have to say." Commander Hanbit slammed his fist on the table. "Absolutely not. We cannot trust these aliens. For all we know, they plan to invade Earth, and this paradox story is just a cover. If they wanted to attack us," Taehyun pointed out, "they could have done so already. Their technology is far beyond ours." The debate continued for hours. Finally, the president made a decision. "We will establish communication with the Dorek, but Captain Kim stays on the station. We need to understand more before making any decisions." A message was sent to the Dorek ship. Within minutes, the main screen in the command center changed. A strange figure appeared. It looked almost human, but not quite. Its skin was pale blue, and its eyes were large and completely black. It had no hair and 6 fingers on each hand. "I am Seknas, voice of the Dorek High Council," it said. "We are pleased you have decided to communicate. Why have you come to Earth?" asked the president. "To collect our Pathfinder and the human it has chosen," Seknas replied. "The one called Ju Kim. Her mind has been prepared to help us solve the Pupey Paradox." "What is this paradox?" Commander Hambit demanded. The Doric's face showed what might have been a smile. "It is the key to dimensional travel and warfare. For millennia, we have been trapped in a collapsing pocket dimension. Our best minds have failed to solve the equation that would free us. And if we help you," the president asked, "what do we get in return?" "Knowledge, technology, protection from the other species who would destroy you without thought." Ju felt a strange sensation in her mind. Images were flowing into her thoughts, images of other worlds, of ships like the Doric's, of strange beings fighting in ways she couldn't understand. "They've used this paradox as a weapon before," she said suddenly. Everyone turned to look at her. "I can see it. They trapped other species in dimensional loops when those species refused to help them." Seknas' expression didn't change. "We do what we must to survive. As would you." "This confirms my suspicions," Commander Hambit said. "They're not here for help. They're here to conquer us or destroy us." "No," Pupey said firmly. "If conquest was their goal, they would have attacked already. They need Juwu's mind intact and willing." Seknas nodded. "The Pathfinder speaks truth. Human minds must solve the paradox willingly. Force corrupts the solution." "Why should we trust you?" the president asked. "Because we have no choice," Seknas replied. "And neither do you." The screen went black. A moment later, reports started coming in from around the world. In 12 major cities, strange phenomena were occurring. Buildings were flickering in and out of existence. People reported seeing multiple versions of themselves. "They're demonstrating their power," Taehyun said quietly, "showing us what dimensional manipulation can do." Juwoo looked at Pupey. "Is this just the beginning?" Pupey's purple eyes seemed sad. "Yes, the war between dimensions has come to Earth, and you, Ju Kim, are now its most important soldier." The next day, Earth was in a state of panic. Videos of buildings and people flickering between dimensions had spread across all networks. Some people had seen multiple versions of themselves. Others reported time moving differently in affected areas. The Doric's demonstration had worked. Everyone was scared. In a secure room on Station Seoul, Earth's leaders argued about what to do next. Commander Hambit wanted to prepare for war. Others thought they should cooperate with the Doric. Juwoo sat quietly, her head pounding with new information. The strange knowledge in her mind kept growing. Equations and symbols flashed through her thoughts faster than she could understand them. "Captain Kim," the president said, breaking into her thoughts. "You've been quiet. What do you think we should do?" All eyes turned to Juwoo. She took a deep breath. "I think I need to speak with them. Directly. Their ship is full of information that could help us understand what we're facing." Commander Hambit shook his head. "Absolutely not. It's too dangerous." "With all respect, Commander," Juwoo said, "we don't have much choice. The Doric could destroy our cities if they wanted to." Pupey, who had been sitting near Juwoo, stood up. "She will be safe. The Doric need her alive and willing." After hours of debate, the leaders finally agreed. Juwoo would go to the Doric ship, but not alone. Dr. Taehyun would go with her, along with a small security team. As they prepared to leave, Juwoo felt a strange sensation. She could feel the Doric ship in her mind, calling to her. It was as if the nanites Pupey had injected into her were connecting her to the aliens. "You feel it, don't you?" Pupey asked, watching her face. "Yes." "What is it?" "The quantum link. The Doric communicate through quantum entanglement. Your mind is now part of their network." Juwoo frowned. "Can they read my thoughts?" "No, but they can sense your emotions, and you can sense theirs." That was how Juwoo discovered something important. The Doric were afraid. Beneath their power and threats, She could feel their fear. The small shuttle left Station Seoul and headed toward the massive Doric ship. It hung in space like a strange crystal, parts of it seeming to exist in other dimensions. "It's beautiful," Taehyun whispered as they approached. A beam of light surrounded their shuttle, pulling it gently into a large opening in the side of the alien ship. When the doors opened, Seknas was waiting for them, along with several other Doric. "Welcome, Ju Kim," Seknas said. "We have waited a long time for someone like you." The inside of the ship was like nothing Ju had ever seen. The walls seemed alive, changing colors and patterns. The floors glowed softly, and everywhere she looked, she saw strange symbols that matched the ones in her mind. "You recognize our writing," Seknas noted. "The nanites are working well." "What exactly did you do to me?" Ju asked. "We gave you the ability to understand, to see across dimensions, to think as we think." Taehyun was scanning everything with his devices. "This technology is incredible," he said. Seknas led them to a large room with a glowing sphere in the center. "This is our council chamber. The High Council wishes to speak with you." 3 more Doric appeared, older and taller than Seknas. They stood around the glowing sphere. "Ju Kim of Earth," one of them said. "Do you understand why you are here?" "You need me to solve your paradox," Ju replied. "But I want to know more about it first, and about why you've used it as a weapon against other species." The Doric Council members looked at each other. "We have enemies," one explained. "Species who would destroy us without thought. The paradox has been our only defense." "But it's also your prison," Ju said, the knowledge flowing through her mind. "You've trapped yourselves in this dimensional loop while trying to trap your enemies." "Yes, and now our prison is collapsing. If we do not escape soon, our entire species will cease to exist." Through her quantum link, Ju could feel their desperation. It was real. But she could also sense something they were hiding. "There's more to this story," she said. "Tell me the truth." The oldest Doric sighed. "Very well. The paradox was not originally a weapon. It was a gift, a way to travel between dimensions peacefully. But in our fear, we twisted it into something dangerous. And in doing so, we locked ourselves away from the rest of the universe." Ju looked at Pupey, who had been silent until now. "And what is your role in all this?" "I am not just a scout," Pupey said. "I am the last pure form of what the Doric once were, before they changed themselves to survive in higher dimensions." The truth hit Ju like a wave. The war wasn't just between species. It was within the Doric themselves, between what they were and what they had become. And somehow, she was caught in the middle. Back on Station Seoul, Dr. Taehyun worked late into the night. After returning from the Doric ship, he had taken blood samples from Ju to study the nanites in her system. What he found shocked him. "They're replicating," he told Ju the next morning. They were alone in his lab, away from the other scientists and military personnel. Ju frowned. "Is that dangerous?" "That's the strange part," Taehyun said, showing her the images on his screen. "They're not attacking your cells. They're enhancing them, making connections in your brain that weren't there before, and they could potentially spread to other humans." "Like a virus?" Ju asked, alarmed. "Not exactly. More like..." Taehyun paused, searching for the right words. "More like the next step in human evolution, but artificially triggered." Ju thought about this. The equations and symbols were still flowing through her mind, but now she was starting to understand them better. The paradox was becoming clearer. "The Doric didn't tell us everything," she said quietly. "There's something they're hiding about this paradox." Taehyun nodded. "I thought so too. Their technology is too advanced. If they really just needed help solving a math problem, they could have asked any advanced species." "They need humans specifically," Ju said. "But why?" At that moment, the door to the lab opened. Colonel Suman Kim, Juwoo's older sister, walked in. She had arrived at the station earlier that morning after hearing about the alien situation. "There you are," Suman said, hugging Juwu tightly. "I've been worried sick about you." "I'm okay," Juwu assured her, "but things are complicated." Suman looked at the screens showing the nanites in Juwu's blood. "So it's true. They changed you. They gave me knowledge, understanding." Suman's face was serious. "We need to talk. I found something you both should see." She pulled out a small device and placed it on the table. It projected an image of an ancient stone tablet. "This was found in the ruins of an old temple in South America," Suman explained. "It's over 5,000 years old." Juwu and Taehyun stared at the tablet. It was covered in strange symbols, the same symbols that had been flowing through Juwu's mind. "That's Doric writing," Juwu whispered. "But how is that possible? This tablet is from Earth." "Exactly," Suman said. "And there's more. Similar tablets have been found all over the world. In Egypt, China, India, all with the same symbols." Taehyun's eyes widened. "You're saying the Doric have been to Earth before?" "Not just visited," Suman said. "I think they lived here, or at least spent enough time here to teach humans their language." Juwu felt a cold sensation spread through her body. The paradox. It's not just some alien math problem. It's connected to us, to humans. "That's what I think too," Suman agreed. "The military has been keeping these finds secret for decades, but when the Doric ship appeared, I was given access to the files." Juwu stood up and began pacing the room. "If the Doric were on Earth thousands of years ago, and they're connected to human evolution somehow, then this isn't first contact at all," Taehyun finished. "It's a reunion." Just then, Pupey entered the lab. The small creature had been given freedom to move around the station since they returned from the Doric ship. "You have discovered the truth," Pupey said, looking at the image of the tablet. "Yes, we were here long ago." "Why didn't you tell us?" Juwu demanded. "Because the Doric Council did not want you to know. They believe it would complicate matters." "Complicate what?" Suman asked, her hand moving closer to her weapon. "The choice that Juwu must make," Pupey replied. "The paradox is part of humanity's DNA. Long ago, the Doric placed it there, like a seed waiting to grow." The three humans stared at Pupey in shock. "Are you saying that humans were created by the Doric?" Taehyun asked. "Not created," Pupey corrected. "Guided. The Doric found early humans and saw potential. They added small changes to your genetic code, changes that would one day allow you to understand the paradox." Juwu felt like the floor was shifting beneath her feet. "So we're some kind of experiment." "You are the solution," Pupey said simply. "The Doric have waited thousands of years for human minds to evolve enough to understand the paradox. Juwu, you are the first to reach that point." Suman stepped forward, protective of her sister. "And what happens when she solves this paradox? What happens to humanity?" Pupey's purple eyes seemed to glow brighter. "That depends on the choice she makes. The paradox can save both our species, or destroy us all." Juwu looked at the ancient tablet again. The symbols now made perfect sense to her. They weren't just writing. They were instructions. A map to something buried deep in human consciousness. For 3 days, Juwu locked herself away in a private lab on Station Seoul. The equations and symbols in her mind were finally coming together. The paradox was becoming clear to her. Dr. Taehyun would check on her every few hours, bringing food and fresh coffee. Pupey stayed with her constantly, watching as she covered the walls with diagrams and mathematical formulas. "You understand it now," Pupey said on the 3rd day. It wasn't a question. Juwu nodded, stepping back to look at her work. "Yes, it's beautiful, really. The paradox isn't just about dimensional travel. It's about consciousness itself, how a mind can exist in multiple states at once." "And the solution?" Pupey asked. Juwu was quiet for a moment. "The solution is there, but I've also found something else, a counter-solution." Pupey tilted its head. Explain. The Dorak want to use the paradox to escape their dimensional trap, but they also want to use it as a weapon. My counter-solution would let them escape, but they couldn't use it to harm other species. Pupey's purple eyes blinked slowly. The Council will not like this. That's not my problem. Ju said firmly. I won't give anyone a weapon that could trap entire species in dying dimensions. When Ju finally emerged from the lab, she asked for a meeting with Earth's leaders. They gathered in the main conference room of the station. Commander Hambit Lee was there, along with Suman, Taiyun, and representatives from the major nations of Earth. I've solved the paradox, Ju announced, but I've also created a modified solution that will help the Dorak without giving them a new weapon. She explained her findings as simply as she could. The paradox was like a key that could open doors between dimensions, but the original solution would make a key that could also lock those doors from the outside, trapping people inside. My counter-solution creates a key that only works if both sides agree to open the door, Ju said. It requires cooperation, not domination. And you believe the Dorak will accept this? The president asked. Some will, some won't, Ju answered honestly. From what I can sense through our quantum connection, the Dorak are divided. The older ones want the weapon. The younger ones just want to be free. Commander Hambit shook his head. This is still too risky. What if they reject your solution and attack Earth? As if answering his question, the station suddenly shook. Alarm sirens blared. What's happening? Suman asked, jumping to her feet. An officer rushed into the room. The Dorak ship is doing something. Energy readings are off the charts. They all ran to the command center. On the main screen, they could see a beam of strange light extending from the Dorak ship down to Earth. Where the beam touched, a large city was flickering in and out of existence. They're demonstrating their power again, Taiyun said, his voice tight with worry. No, Ju said. This is different. They're not just showing us what they can do. They're getting impatient. The communication system activated, and Seknas appeared on the screen. We grow tired of waiting. Ju Kim, the Dorak said. Our dimension continues to collapse. We need the solution now. I have a solution, Ju replied, but not the one you expected. My solution will free your people, but it won't give you a weapon. Seknas's face showed no emotion, but Ju could feel anger through their quantum link. That is unacceptable. We need protection from our enemies. My solution requires cooperation, Ju explained. It means you'll have to make peace, not war. Peace is not always possible, Seknas said. Not all species are as reasonable as humans. Some understand only power. The beam of light intensified. On the screen, they could see the city below beginning to fade more dramatically. Stop this, the president demanded. You're harming innocent people. We will return your city in 1 hour, Seknas said coldly. Consider this a demonstration of what will happen to your entire planet if you refuse to give us the complete solution. The screen went dark. Commander Hambit turned to Ju. Now do you see? They don't want cooperation. They'd want a weapon. Not all of them, Ju said. I can feel it. The Dorak are divided on this issue. The council is being challenged by younger members. She made a decision then, a dangerous one. I need to go to their ship again. But this time, I'll bring my counter-solution directly to all the Dorak, not just the council. That's too dangerous, Suman protested. They could kill you. No, Pupey said. The nanites protect her now. And she is right. There are many among my people who would accept her solution. Ju looked around at the worried faces. I have to try. This isn't just about saving Earth or the Dorak. It's about changing how species interact across dimensions. She turned to Taiyun. Can you create a device that will store my counter-solution? Something I can use to demonstrate it on their ship. Taiyun nodded slowly. Yes. Give me 2 hours. Then it's decided, Ju said. I'm going back to the Dorak ship. And this time, I'm bringing my own terms. The war was entering a new phase, not just a battle of weapons, but a battle of ideas. 2 hours later, Ju stood in the launch bay of Station Seoul. She wore a special suit Taehyun had designed to protect her from any dimensional shifts. In her hand was a small device that contained her counter-solution to the paradox. "You don't have to do this alone," Suman said, checking her weapon. "I'm coming with you." "So am I," Taehyun added. "You'll need me to operate the device." To everyone's surprise, Commander Hanbit stepped forward. "I'll join you as well. If this goes wrong, Earth's military should have eyes on the situation." Ju-woo looked at the three of them and nodded. "Thank you." Pupey sat quietly nearby, watching them prepare. "The Council will try to take the device from you," it warned. "They are desperate." "Let them try," Suman said, patting her weapon. The small shuttle left the station and headed toward the massive Doric ship. As they approached, Ju-woo could feel the quantum link in her mind growing stronger. Thousands of Doric minds were touching hers, curious and afraid. "They know we're coming," she told the others, "and they're divided about what to do." The shuttle was pulled into the same docking bay as before. When the doors opened, Seknas was waiting with several Doric guards. "You have decided to cooperate," Seknas said. "Wise choice." "I'd brought my solution," Ju replied. "But I want to present it to all your people, not just the Council." Seknas' expression hardened. "That is not possible. You will give the solution to the Council alone." Commander Hanbit stepped forward. "That's not how this works. Either all your people hear what she has to say, or we leave." For a tense moment, it seemed the Doric guards might attack. But then another Doric appeared, younger, with slightly different markings on its blue skin. "Let them speak," the new Doric said. "Many of us wish to hear what the human has discovered." Seknas turned. "Venler, this is not your decision. The Council does not speak for all Doric anymore," Venler interrupted. "Not when our very existence is at stake." Ju-woo could feel the conflict between them through the quantum link. There was a power struggle happening among the Doric, and her arrival had intensified it. Finally, Seknas stepped aside. "Very well, but the Council must be present." They were led through the shifting corridors of the ship to a vast chamber filled with hundreds of Doric. The glowing walls pulsed with energy patterns. In the center was a raised platform where the three members of the High Council waited. "Speak," Ju-woo Kim of Earth, the oldest council member said. "Present your solution." Ju-woo stepped onto the platform. The device in her hand glowed softly. "I have solved your paradox," she began. "But my solution is different from what you expected. It will free you from your dimensional trap, but it cannot be used as a weapon." Murmurs spread through the crowd. The council members looked displeased. "Show us," the oldest one demanded. Taehyun activated the device. A holographic display appeared above it, showing complex equations and diagrams. As the Doric studied it, Ju-woo could feel their reactions: surprise, understanding, and in some cases, anger. "This solution requires cooperation," one council member said. "It is useless against our enemies." "It means you'll have to find another way to deal with your enemies," Ju replied. "One that doesn't involve trapping entire species in collapsing dimensions." As they argued, Ju noticed something strange. The walls of the chamber seemed to be moving, flowing like water. And the Doric themselves were beginning to change shape. "What's happening?" Suman whispered, her hand on her weapon. Pupey stepped forward. "They are revealing their true form. This is who the Doric really are." To their shock, the humanoid Doric were melting away. In their place were creatures that looked exactly like Pupey, six-legged, furry beings with purple eyes. "The humanoid forms are just constructs," Pupey explained, "created to interact with three-dimensional beings. This is our true appearance." One of the Pupey-like creatures approached Ju. Through the quantum link, she recognized it as Venler. Now you understand, Venler said. We are not so different from the creature you welcomed onto your ship. The Council has hidden our true nature for too long, believing it made us seem weak. Commander Hanbit looked stunned. Your entire species looks like puppies. We evolved in a dimension where this form was perfect for survival, Venler explained. The Great War that trapped us happened when we tried to change ourselves to match other species. The 3 council members, now also in their true pupae forms, stepped forward. Your solution is incomplete, the oldest one insisted. We need the weapon to survive. No, Venler countered. We need allies, not enemies. This human has shown us another way. The chamber on the Doric ship had turned into chaos. Hundreds of pupae-like creatures were divided into 2 groups. The council supporters on one side, Venler's followers on the other. This has gone too far, the oldest council member said. Seize the device. Several Doric moved toward Juwu, but Suman and Commander Hanbit stepped in front of her, weapons ready. Stop, Venler called out. There has been enough fighting. We have been trapped in our dimensional prison for centuries because we chose war over cooperation. Juwu felt a strange sensation in her mind. Through the quantum link, she could feel the emotions of all the Doric at once. Fear, hope, anger, and deep weariness from their long imprisonment. Listen to me, she said, her voice cutting through the noise. I understand why you want a weapon. You're afraid. But my counter-solution offers something better than fear. It offers freedom through trust. She held up the device. With this solution, you can escape your dimensional trap. But you'll need to work with other species, not against them. And what happens when we meet species who only want to destroy us? The oldest council member asked. Then you face them together with your allies. Juwu answered. Earth will stand with you. Commander Hanbit looked at her in surprise. Captain Kim, you can't make that promise on behalf of Earth. I believe she can, Taeyun said quietly. The nanites in her system have already started spreading on Earth. Within a year, thousands of humans will have the same abilities Juwu has now. We're already connected to the Doric, whether we like it or not. This revelation stunned everyone, even the Doric Council. It wasn't planned, Pupey explained. But the nanites found human minds compatible. They're creating a bridge between our species. Juwu stepped forward, looking at all the pupae-like creatures around her. This is the real solution to the paradox. Not a mathematical equation, but a joining of minds. Different species thinking together, finding answers that none could find alone. Venler moved to her side. I believe she is right. The old ways have failed us. We must try something new. More and more Doric moved to join them. The council members looked at each other, realizing they were losing support. How do we know this will work? The youngest council member asked. We don't, Juwu admitted, but I'm willing to try if you are. She held out her hand. After a long moment, the oldest council member approached and placed one of its 6 paws on her palm. Show us, it said simply. Juwu nodded to Taeyun, who activated the device. The holographic display expanded, filling the chamber with light and equations. But this time, Juwu did something new. She opened her mind fully to the quantum link, sharing her complete understanding of the counter-solution with all the Doric at once. The effect was immediate and powerful. Hundreds of Doric minds joined with hers, adding their knowledge to her human perspective. Together, they began to implement the solution. The walls of the chamber started to pulse with energy. The ship itself seemed to hum with power. It's working, Taeyun said in amazement, checking his instruments. The dimensional barriers are stabilizing. A new doorway appeared in the center of the chamber, a shimmering portal of light that seemed to lead into infinite space. The bridge is forming, Venler explained. A stable path between dimensions. The oldest council member looked at Juwu with new respect. You have fulfilled your purpose, human. The seed we planted in your species has finally bloomed. Not just bloomed, Juwu corrected, evolved. We took what you gave us and made it our own. That's what humans do. As the Dorak prepared to cross through the portal to their new home dimension, Venlir approached Jiwu one last time. We will not forget what you have done for us. As thanks, we leave you with knowledge, the beginning of dimensional science for humans. Tahian's device began downloading massive amounts of information. This will advance Earth's technology by centuries, he whispered. And a warning, the oldest council member added. There are other paradoxes waiting to be solved. Other species trapped as we were. Some will seek your help. Others will fear your growing power. Commander Hambit frowned. So this isn't the end of the war. One war ends, another begins, Venlir said. But now you have allies. As the Dorak began moving through the portal, Pupey remained behind, sitting at Jiwu's feet. You're not going with them, she asked in surprise. I will stay as ambassador between our worlds, Pupey replied, and to help you prepare for what comes next. Jiwu looked at the shimmering portal, then back at her companions, her sister Suman, Dr. Taehyun, even the skeptical Commander Hambit. Together, they had changed the course of two species. Let's go home, she said. We have a lot of work to do. As they left the Dorak ship, Jiwu reflected on how it all began, with a simple act of kindness toward what seemed like a lost space puppy. Her war had started with a bite, but it had ended with something far more powerful, understanding. And somewhere in the vast universe, other species were watching and wondering about the strange humans who had solved the Pupey Paradox.